airports, libraries, roads, hospitals, local assembly offices, and the likes are key public infrastructure for the development of any society. Their efficient delivery must be of utmost importance to Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies, MMDAs. In spite of this importance, coupled with the requirement for public infrastructure procurement to be conducted in line with the Public Procurement Act of 2016, Act 914, public infrastructure procurement in Ghana is still fraught with about 15% corruption and lack of transparency. The result is shoddy works, project time and cost overruns, which reduce the expected project benefits to the citizenry, thereby increasing the public mistrust for government, all making a strong case for the cost Sekondi-Takoradi initiative.
Cost Sekondi-Takoradi is part of the global initiative cost program, and it's coming in this point to help government to address issues of lack of disclosure in project delivery, inadequate citizen participation in the delivery of projects, and corruption perception relating to project delivery.
Unlike the Cost Sekondi-Takoradi's 2019 project and First Assurance report, in which only 2 procurement entities participated, the 2020-2021 Cost Sekondi-Takoradi program of activities and Second Assurance expanded its assured entities and started with a training workshop for the new MMDAs.
We look at the 4 key features of disclosure, assurance, multi-stakeholder working, and social accountability. Those are all geared towards encouraging or promoting transparency in public infrastructure.
It's very important, and the reason is that a lot of assemblies have been doing things anyhow for a long time. And I think that these 7 assemblies that have come to join SDMA will know that they're going to be scored and the results are going to be made public, and nobody wants to be named and shamed. So they'll put their ass together.
The 7 new procuring entities that we are looking at are the Efiokwesimitti Municipal Assembly, Takwa Municipal Assembly, Mahanta West Municipal Assembly, Nzema East Municipal Assembly. We have Mpoho District, we have Wasa East District, and Shama District. What is expected of them is that we are going to make projects available, projects that whether it has been completed or ongoing, so that the multi-stakeholder group will select a project each for the second assurance process.
But how hopeful are these MMDAs to use the cost platform to improve their public infrastructure delivery processes?
When you are doing something and you know that somebody is watching your back directly, which would make things open to the public, you try to be cautious.
So we need this referee, especially when your opponents are going to shout that it's too expensive, it's too much, there's corruption in there. But when you get into office, you find yourself spending about the same amount.
To get first-hand information on the various assured projects in the 8 MMDAs selected based on their socio-economic impact and amount of information disclosed, the multi-stakeholder group visited the 5.7 million Ghana cedi rehabilitation works on the Wamko Efiakuma Road project in the Efiekwesimitti municipality.
This exercise is very key when it comes to the cost approach, because we are dealing with the disclosure of information, and if the information is disclosed, we have to go to the field and see that whatever has been disclosed is what is on the ground.
This road has been very, very bad. In fact, when it rains, you can't pass here. A car can't come, especially starting from the far end to this place. This place was really in a mess. But right now, I could see it's okay. But previously, it was really bad. Especially when there's a traffic on Sekondi Road. That's early in the morning, around 7 that way. You can use this road, just pass here, use here to new site. Then you could dodge the traffic a little. But because this road was not good, you couldn't even come and use this road. You just use this Chinese road to town and still be in the same traffic you are avoiding.
You can imagine you're stuck in traffic for about 2 hours when you're going to do just a 30 minutes business transaction and you're stuck in traffic for 2 hours. What does it mean? You might go and your client is gone or your business is spoiled. So when you have easy flow of traffic, it's good for business.
We've done some studies and we realized that the major problem affecting the road is drainage. Because the drains along the road were all undersized, especially the culvert that was carrying the Butre Lagoon itself. When you calculate the amount of work the contractor has done so far, it's about 45%. So the remaining work, that is the earthwork and the asphaltic work, the contractor can use even a month or two maximum to complete it.
3 months after the MSG's visit to the Wamko Efiakuma Road Reconstruction Project in the Efiakwesiminti Municipality, which was expected to be completed by April 2021, motorists were already seeing signs of relief with the asphalted road.
So far so good. The road did you were the best. It was the first one now and you cry. If a drop in for hamper on ye. America some way you habo. I was my umpire for workers and for umpire Casacas and that and the money smooth. Be alive.
The MSG also inspected the construction of a 100-capacity dormitory block for the School for the Deaf in the Shama district.
This project was started March 2020 and it's supposed to be completed next year, April 2021. And then we are within schedule and it's at the roofing stage now. So it's about 50% complete. And then very soon after the roof cover has been put in place, the finishing will also take place. The finish comprises the plaster in the ceiling and fittings, the plumbing and the electrical aspect of it will also proceed from there.
At the moment, we have a population about 400. And the 400, the boys are about 200 plus. And that block, which is supposed to take about 100 students, is now housing more than 200 students. So this block has come to relieve most of the problems we have as far as congestion of the school is concerned.
The second assurance lead researcher from the Takoradi Technical University was Dr. Matthew Kwao-Somia.
The project has different phases. So right from the design phase, whether stakeholders were engaged, during the implementation, whether stakeholders were engaged, and then at completion, to what extent did they participate? Is it that you brought the design and showed them that the design, this is what we are going to do for you, or you solicited their views and incorporated it in the design?
The Nzima East Municipality has most of its residents depending on cassava as a source of livelihood, like Auntie Ruth Apia from Bekro, who is in the business of manually processing cassava for the local food acheke.
Meko afumna se minye machine bia na ma adwa gunsum eni machine bia nti machine e dey fufuo no ono na e dey nyam.
Her challenges with processing cassava is not any different from Gifty Bentum, also a cassava processor from Bekro.
Aha ne ba bia ye acheke adwuma no e wo kwan ho na aha so pata bia ni ha nti sɛ cars ne twa mu a mfuturo tumi gu mmɔle na yɛ bɛyɛ nim na mu ayɛ ahwea nti ɛba ne saa na ama adwuma na yɛ den ama yɛn ɛta da yɛ de kɔ akyi a ebi di a ɔse ahwea wom ɔsɛ ogya itɔ yɛn so no ne abraba yɛ bɔ ne yɛtimi de hwɛ yɛ ma ɛyɛ nneɛma ɛse yɛ de yɛ no wɔ ha.
The construction of this 382,000 Ghana cedi cassava processing plant at Bekro, which is captured under the Cost Sekondi-Takoradi 2020-2021 project, is expected to address some of the concerns with cassava processing in the municipality.
The CIS 1 district, a bad dear, the mansion, the Bugusi more, maybe a my machine. Nay, I am what you may be our. This machine basho dear, no, so you want to.
The Nzima East Development Planning Officer, Roxanne Sharif, who joined the MSG on a visit to the cassava plant, while sure of meeting completion schedule, also gave the expectations of the project.
It is scheduled to have been completed by now, but we had some few delays. So for now, we mark it at about 95% because there are some internal issues that we need to finish up there. And then we also found out that there are some other attachments we need to do to this because the line of production for Gary is not exactly the same for the rest.
Achake uses a lot of water, so they need water nearby so that the work that they are doing will improve and also help people in the community and the entire country.
The importance of healthcare delivery to local communities is why Cost Sekondi-Takoradi's 2020-2021 implementation programs took interest in this CHIPS compound at Yabio in the Ahanta West municipality.
Yabio is at the center of both Abuade, Kejibir, and then Biaho. These three communities, including Yabio, they access the facility at Yabio.
Chief compound by Abuade and Kakra, because I for Kana Yoko, sawmill, Takoradi. Nti ibe no ebia apemfo no pokra no abwan.
The Kokompe garages in the Sekondi-Takoradi metropolis, with over 2,000 mechanics, electricians and artisans, and the more than 1,000 vehicles patronizing their services daily, are also under the watch of the Cost Sekondi-Takoradi 2020-2021 program. Construction of its 25 block of garages, 2-story skills and training center block project that started in 2015 has been captured under the second assurance report, leading to the research team's interaction with beneficiaries.
The sprayer, my garage now always. Garage in the question that fine. First, I know and table, but CCRD. Oh yeah, fine pa me ju. Na mum a hoka crowd mun there. Mekadenche won cruise one gina wina ama sensutwa my head and many problem. But Nancy, on them the mechanic went to my and almost me his car. Me to my sword my engine. Wama, why a hammer? But down we are a misspray car. You shoe can't be a fine. We are one in Susha's auto. You Susha's auto, Anna, you shouldn't say. Ayina, and this opera, me to me punch on one more there, and pa, you should ask and to say, why am I encroaching, Mamma? It's a main about you.
The views that we have sampled now, we will table it. We are turning it into the assurance report, and it will inform the next garages that will be delivered.
To take stock of how the Cost Sekondi-Takoradi's 2020-2021 journey was progressing, the multi-stakeholder group met with strong representation from civil society.
The role of civil society in this cost initiative is to ensure that the aspirations of citizens are well represented and articulated, and that every infrastructure that is funded by the public through the citizens' taxes are used well.
To assess how the assurance process was taking shape, an assurance team met with key stakeholders from the participating MMDAs. some representatives of the various MMDAs were surprised at some of the initial observations outlined.
From the look of things in the procurement process, we inadvertently overlook certain things which are critical, especially the issue of disclosure.
Some of these things, I mean, most assemblies just take them to be very trivial issues, but I think that going forward, we have to be very accurate in our reporting.
One thing that came to mind is checking the integrity of the concrete. So when you give the contracts, you give specifications as to how the concrete should be.
The common issues are with monitoring of the project. So we are of the view that as an interim measure to forestall some of these things, national service persons, the PEs could engage national service persons with the requisite knowledge.
Cost Sekondi-Takoradi, as part of its community engagement on its 2020-2021 activities, also had a series of media sensitization programs. After 12 months of the Cost Sekondi-Takoradi 2020-2021 program of activities, its second assurance report was launched in Takoradi, with all stakeholders duly in attendance.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, I duly launch this wonderful report. Thank you very much.
Dr. Matthew Kwausomia led the research team to present the Cost Second Assurance Report findings and recommendations.
In terms of disclosure, STMA came first, and Takwa Inswayim and ECMA managed the, I don't want to say last, but they managed the 8th position. In terms of cost overrun, Ahanta West did not record any cost overrun. They did also not make any savings. But in terms of savings, it is STMA that recorded the highest, over 17,000 Ghana cedi savings. This is positive. However, their weakness was in managing the duration of the project. The project had time overrun of 13 months, which does not speak well with them. But they were second in terms of time overrun because in Zima East, projects had suffered and still counting 23 months behind schedule. So when you rank in terms of time overrun, Zima East will come first, followed, which is 23 months, followed by STMA 13 months.
After a detailed presentation, some stakeholders expressed what they make of the report and the cost initiative.
What cost is embarking now, I think it will go a long way to check the MMDAs, and then it will also help the various communities.
This was followed by a press conference addressed by the Cost Sekondi-Takoradi manager to present the Cost Second Assurance Report findings and recommendations.
The clear success story is the fact that we started with one district, and within a year we have 7 more districts. The idea is to try and go national. Personally, I'm encouraged by the willingness of the assemblies to join.
To publicize the findings and recommendations of the Second Assurance Report, a meeting of the Coast District Citizens Monitoring Team was then organized to end its 2020-2021 program of activities.
We are hoping to do it on 11 projects, whereby we add on 3. Then the next year we can add the remaining so that all the 14 MMDAs in the Western region are covered.
I'm sure that when I look back in a few years, I will know that me and my team have monitored the assemblies well, and as a result, we are getting better projects than we used to get before.